Oh, there we are. Good Baltimore morning, everyone. Hey! Thanks so much for joining us this morning here at Whitehall Mill. We want to give a special shout out to Whitehall Mill and the Penguin Room where you are right now. Very grateful for them for letting us be in this beautiful space. If you haven't been here before, definitely take the time to check out more on their website at whitehallmill.com. Also, they have a lot of really great local vendors here too. So if you haven't had a chance to peruse, please peruse. So, whose first time is it today? Oh, look at you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Whose not first time is it today? Hey, welcome back, y'all. And also for everyone joining us online, we see you. Thank you for being here. If you're watching the recording, we see you there too. So thank you for being here as well. My name is Kira Wisniewski, and I have the distinct honor and pleasure of being your host and co-organizer of Creative Mornings Baltimore. We're so excited to be coming to you here today live from our beloved Baltimore City on the ancestral land of the Piscataway people. And we're excited for you to be here in real life. It's our second time back, and you're here and we're here, and it's very exciting. So thank you for showing up. But before we get started, I do want to say out loud that Black lives continue to matter. I also want to recognize that there is a lot of trauma happening in the world right now. But I also want to highlight that community and joy are all forms of resistance. And so to give yourself permission to fully be here with us this morning, you deserve this time. So Creative Mornings is currently in over 223 chapters, that's cities, in 67 countries worldwide. So you are part of 27,000 morning people who are meeting this month on the theme of now. We're happy to be offering ASL from our friends at HASA. So what up, Theodore? Supported by Eddie's of Roland Park. So check out what's happening at Eddie's of Roland Park. The Roland Avenue remodel has another milestone in June with brand new customer bathrooms, a water bottle refilling station, new meat and seafood department, prepared foods department, complete with a self-service soup bar. You'll want to stop in soon to see what they have in store, details and product updates available at eddiesofrolandpark.com/remodel. Our Buffalo chapter chose this month's exploration of now. Mizzen Shin illustrated the theme, and our global partner MailChimp is presenting the theme. All right. Each month, we like to give a little bit more shine to someone truly special to the Creative Mornings community to read our Creative Mornings manifesto. And this morning, I'm very excited to be inviting Brittany to the stage from the White Tea Co. So they are one of those great vendors that I mentioned that are actually right here in Whitehall Mill. You've been sipping their tea all morning. It's delicious. So please help me welcome Brittany to the stage.
Good morning. Before I read this, I apologize. I'm getting over a cold, so I might cough. And I promise it's just a cold. Okay. Everyone is creative. A creative life requires bravery and action, honesty, and hard work. We are here to support you, celebrate with you, and encourage you to make the things you love. We believe in the power of community. We believe in giving a damn. We believe in face-to-face connections, in learning from others, in hugs and high fives. We bring together people who are driven by passion and purpose, confident that they will inspire one another and inspire change in neighborhoods and cities around the world. Everyone is welcome. Welcome to Whitehall Mill.
Thank you. Thank you, Brittany. Creative Mornings is run on an engine of generosity made possible by our volunteers and fueled by companies that believe in community, people, and companies that give a damn. I meant to put a picture up here. I didn't. So volunteers, though, are wearing yellow lanyards today. We are completely volunteer run. So shout out to all of the volunteers who really helped make all of this happen. And we're always looking for new volunteers. So if you want to join us, help produce this event every month, last Friday of every month, please talk to myself or anyone wearing a yellow lanyard. We'd love for you to join our team. And I've said this many times before, but one of the greatest things about working with Creative Mornings is the opportunity to work with my personal favorite local brands. And so we want to do a shout out to all of our sustaining partners here in the city: Adorn Vintage Furniture, Alpha Graphics, Hasa, Impact Hub, Local Color Flowers, Maryland Art Place, Pixelated Photo Booth, White Tea Company, and Black Acres Roastery. We want to thank today's breakfast sponsors: Black Acres, White Tea, and Atwaters. All right, one more sponsor. We also want to give a shout out to our global sponsor. They're sponsoring all 200 plus chapters of MailChimp. Okay, we did it. You can see on our website, and we're also going to drop in the chat if you're joining us online, a link that lists all of our wonderful sustaining partners, as well as folks that we've been fortunate enough to work with since our relaunch of our chapter. If you can, we encourage you to support them now more than ever. Local and small businesses, micro businesses really need your support. If you don't have the means to support them monetarily, we encourage you to leave a review on Google or Yelp, a positive one, or even just follow them on social. All of that really helps those micro businesses that really make Baltimore so special. And here are all of our lovely speakers from 2021. Many of them are in the audience today. You have an opportunity right now and always to be part of that engine of generosity. You can make a tax-deductible donation right now to via our fiscal sponsor at that address right there. Any amount that is meaningful to you is meaningful to us. And happy to, also take your cash if you have that on you. All right, here we go. Main event. You ready, Will? Look at this photo, y'all. Will Walker is a Baltimore transplant, originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Will found his way to Charm City by attending the national treasure Morgan State University, where he attained his BS and ME in Industrial and Systems Engineering. In his personal time, Will is an inspiring chef who loves to cook for friends, show off his skills doing local pop-ups, and outside of engineering and cooking, the former Creative Mornings Baltimore host also is the organizer of the Run Crew, A Tribe Called Run. And he'd love to talk to you about his garden. Creative Mornings Baltimore, please welcome Will Walker.
Check. All right, there we go. Can y'all hear me? How about the people in the back? All right, so I feel really offended for my tribe folks because y'all gave Kara an amazing first yell, scream loud, and I can never get y'all to do that on a Monday. So trust me, Monday, if we don't have a good reaction, there's going to be an issue. But good morning, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming out. As y'all can see, I'm a little nervous. I got the armpit sweats going, but we'll do my thing. Feels good to be on the other side of the mic. As Kara alluded, I used to be a former host, so feels a little weird being on this side of the stage, but hoping to inspire you guys creatively, emotionally, all those good things. So if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna read from my phone, try to write out some good things, some good notes to make this a good talk about now and its importance. So just rock with me, Feel free to tell me that I suck and I can't read as well, if I'm stuttering, tripping over myself. But let's get into it. So as I mentioned, it's definitely fitting to be on this side of the mic. This moment at Creative Mornings was kind of like a spark into my current now, the transition of the person that I am currently becoming and ultimately being. As I mentioned earlier, being a host of Creative Mornings a couple years back, I was actually transitioning through a tough breakup, and it was a catalyst to get me in a road in the right direction. It was you guys know it's tough. That person was actually a member of Creative Mornings, so doing this every Friday, once a month, was kind of like a trigger. It was a reminder, but it actually helped me to get going, get motivated, get myself in the right direction of creating a change. So as I mentioned, trying to go to therapy or going to therapy to work on healing myself, finding what were the things that were holding me up in life, creating whatever issues that I was having that couldn't help me move forward. And then just ultimately learning how to, trying to figure out how to learn to love myself so that I could learn to love others. It was a big step. And when I say try, I like to say that the definition of try is an attempt or effort to do something. And I use that word because it involves action. A lot of times we are very hesitant on making that first step. A lot of times we sit, wait, and hope for things to change, and we do not take action. So a part of just being in the now and understanding a now moment is actually realizing that you have to get out there and take action. So one of the things I realized is that, people often say that time heals, it takes time. Time heals all wounds. But that's not actually true. It actually gives us the opportunity to suppress those feelings that we have on the inside. But we never take the time to address what's really causing those issues or causing those concerns. The longer that we go on not addressing, we may feel better, but eventually those. Hello? Okay, there we go. So yeah, we might suppress things to the point that they no longer hurt as bad, but it truly takes time and the effort, again, and action to get out there and fix things in order to heal those wounds. So as I mentioned, it was the first time that I actually took the time out to fix a situation that was currently, bad or negative in my mind. But you had to get out there and do it. Every person's different. So the time it took in this process will vary. It took me roughly a year and a half to kind of work through my emotions, understand the things that were triggering me. My therapy journey took me roughly a year and some change to learn those things. Like I said, it took me time to figure out 5 things. The things that trigger me, the tools on how to cope, setting up boundaries, and then being present, which I definitely still struggle with now because of my phone or being on the gram or whatever it may be. But most importantly, one of the other things that it provided me was understanding a sense of self. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of us have issues with understanding. I think I started therapy at roughly 35 years old, and it just took me that long in life to gain my sense of self. And so, everybody's different in what they're going through at different points in time. But I realized that it was a problem, realized that it was an issue, and I took the action to do it. And, we're all going to be at different spaces at different points in life, but recognizing that you need to make that change is a big start. But to get back on track, therapy helped instill a true sense of self-confidence that I lacked or tried to exude through toxic behaviors. It allowed me to unlearn negative self-talk, the ability to be mindful, and how to turn bad thoughts around with positive reinforcement, which I'm definitely still learning to do today. The process of improvement really never stops. It's something that you're constantly going to be going through. So like I said, it's something that I'm constantly working with, always trying to get better at. Before learning to love myself or be confident in myself, there are a lot of things that I, or even if I could say a collective we, tend to put off. And I would assume this comes out of fear, overanalyzing, the excitement of procrastination. If any of you guys been through college, grad school, all those things, y'all know what I'm talking about, the excitement of procrastination, wait to the last minute to turn in the paper. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And sometimes we put things off out of just being plain old lazy. But I definitely like to encourage you to be mindful and aware of these situations, because these are things of what we can, if you want to take it a little bit further, consider as a self-sabotage, kind of getting in your own way, knowing that you have to do these things, get these things done and out of the way, but putting them off to the last minute and kind of flipping the coin and hoping that it just works out. If we can tend to be mindful and aware, it kind of opens you up to a better frame of mind of thinking. So let me see. Okay, yeah. So being able to get that stuff out of the way, it allowed me to get those negative self-thoughts out, allow me to think clearer so that when opportunities did come up, I wasn't self-sabotaging again. As you guys, a lot of you guys in here are a member of Tribe. Tribe was honestly created out of like a now moment. Almost passed up on the opportunity because I was afraid. And I think a lot of us tend to pass up on opportunities because of fear. Just to give some history, a buddy of mine had reached out to me in regards to, hey, what's up, man? I know you run. What's your thoughts about starting a run crew, or do you know any local run crews? And some people have been mentioning it. And we start talking and having consistent meetings. And he's like, hey, man, let's get this up and running and rocking and rolling. And you guys remember, a lot of you members of Tribe remember, we started January 2020, essentially in the middle of a pandemic. And I threw out every excuse in the book of like, no, we shouldn't do this. It's not right. It's not safe. I don't feel comfortable. And my buddy said, I said, this just isn't the time to do it right now. And he said, why not now? He's like, this is what people need. And I really almost passed up on the opportunity to create something that's been so dope and so amazing at that point in time out of fear. And if I can, pull from some of the things that I've heard from you guys out here in the crowd as members of Tribe, is that it's been crucial to your mental health, building community, things of that nature. And I just imagine that, if I would have waited until the conditions were right, or until the circumstances were right, that we'd still be 2 years later and no Tribe would have been founded. So half of you guys wouldn't even be here in this crowd. Half of us wouldn't have the community or the friendships that we've built over the last 2 years because of a fearful moment of not just pressing forward. So also got to give a big shout out to my consigliere here, Sabre. She's like my conscience. I also had a conversation with her, and one of her biggest things that she always tells me when she senses that I fear doing something is that we don't make fear-based decisions. And it's something that goes a long way with me, because it's just something that had been a part of my life. Like I said earlier, I always self-sabotage things. Or I just didn't think that I was good enough, or not seizing opportunities of being in the moment, which again kind of brings us back to now. It's just like, you never know when the opportunity for greatness, or the opportunity of things that will open up to change your life, will happen. And like I said, in the past, I definitely made a ton of fear-based decisions of why not to do it. Big shout out to Black Acres. As a lot of you guys know, I participated in the pop-up with those guys. Thank you. But I had a ton of what do we call it? Imposter syndrome, where I didn't go to school professionally to cook. To me, I'm just I feel like I know I can cook, but at the end of the day, I know it's a lot of people around here, and I don't take anything lightly. I try not to call myself a chef, because I want to give credit to those folks that took the time out, went to school, and learned properly. But it's the imposter syndrome kicks in when you're doing pop-ups and you're trying to get your name out there, get the word out there, and you feel like, am I really good enough to be out here on the stage, put my name out here? But thankful again to the team over at Black Acres, teaming up with them to even do the pop-up. I had never done short order cooking in my life, never did anything like fast. It had always been catering, where I had things in control. I learned a lot just being on that line, cooking short order food. It was an amazing experience. I learned a lot. And to say the least, when we think that when we always put off things and say like, hey, I'm not really ready. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to go learn some more. You're not really going to learn until you get out there and do it. So in the theme of now, it's you really have to seize the moment. It's when it's in front of you, you got to take advantage of it. Don't put it off out of fear. Don't put it off out of not having enough skill or ability. You really just got to throw yourself into the fire and just do it, like Nike say. But let me get the phone back out real quick. Okay, yeah, I actually made it through a lot of that without the phone. Okay. Thank you. So kind of like to start getting this summary, I realized almost approaching 40 years old, that often I thought I had found purpose through my job or titles or things of that nature. I finally started realizing that I found purpose through things that bring joy, happiness, passion. Cooking and running are definitely things that bring me joy, excitement, and passion. But also at the same time, I realized that those things can easily be taken away at the drop of a dime, either through injury or just the random thing of walking out on the street and getting hit by a car, and I had nothing to do with that, right? So I also realized that you can't put purpose in those things as well. They might bring you joy, might bring you happiness. Definitely love and appreciate the opportunities to do those things, but I'm realizing that I'm finding purpose in building community, being able to bring people together, seeing the relationships that have been forged through tribe, through food, through things of that nature. Being able to make a difference in other people's lives are things that bring purpose, bring joy, and I think also have me being more aware, more alert, and living in my now. So I think one of the things to sum up and take from that was that your why can also be tied into a now moment. So don't overlook like what's really happening to you in a moment, because it can be something that really shapes the course of your life and where you're going. However many years ago I graduated grad school, that was a long time ago. However many years ago that was, I thought it was like, oh man, I'm about to go work for this defense contractor and I'm gonna save the world, right? Or I'm gonna do my part to save the world. But I realized that's not really it. I definitely love my work, enjoy what I do. But I realized that the purpose is not in that, right? And a lot of the times at work, I was really going through the motions, going through the day-to-day. And there was nothing now or urgent about that. But now, just working with tribe, when I'm cooking, my relationships, being more present with what's taking place day-to-day, really drive like the now moments, drive the decisions that are going to impact what I continue to do in the future and moving forward, or how I move and operate. And that comes with good and bad, because sometimes you have to make decisions that are going to impact yourself or some other people, not in a great way. You can't make everybody happy, but moving and operating with integrity are some of the things that will help you along that journey. And summing it up now, for real, I had about 5 or 6 points for everybody to kind of take away that I think are very important when you're trying to identify your now moment or trying to figure out what now means to you and why it's important. So starting off with number 1, stop quitting before you make the attempt to start. So kind of going back earlier, if I never went to therapy, who knows where I would be. And I'm being all the way 100% with you guys. Anybody out here that struggles with anybody out here that struggles with mental health, depression, whatever it may be, or just even if you struggle with, I want to do this thing that's going to make my life better. I want to save X amount of dollars. I want to, I don't know, whatever it is. You got to start, because, you know, that process could have taken you 6 months. And if you never started, 6 months later down the road, you're still in the same spot. And it's like, you got to make those incremental changes every single day. And it's a wonder what can happen when you make those small little changes every single day. Make those small deposits every single day to get you where you're going. It's a wonder where you can be. Next point, stop avoiding doing the hard things. It just prolongs your issues. It doesn't make anything any easier. Again, like I said, you really just have to push forward. You have to stop being your own worst enemy when it comes to making progress. Like I said, it was something that I did constantly throughout my life. Like I said, trying to pay off credit card debt or things like that. You know, it's just something you just have to start somewhere. It gets you a lot further where you want to go. It seems hard. It seems like a daunting task. But once you're in the middle of it, it's like, oh, this wasn't that bad. And it's like, you always kind of have that sit back and like, damn, I wish I would have started this a lot longer, you know, a while ago. The next is choose yourself. You can't help others at the expense of yourself. And as much as we all have good hearts and we're like, oh man, I gotta go above and beyond because this person is my friend. The common saying is that, you know, you can't give from an empty cup. It is really real. In as many years, or you know, I've done this for years, putting friends and things like that first. Sometimes putting your friends first doesn't get reciprocated, and you can have some animosity or you can have some feelings behind that. But if you put yourself first, you realize that you're actually helping people for the right reasons, and you don't need any of that reciprocation. You know, everything that you did came out of love because you really decided to choose to put yourself first, or those that matter. No, put yourself first, then those that matter. And then, you know, you have to set a hierarchy. It comes with setting boundaries. Fourth one, find someone who you really trust to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. I'll a little back to Sable again. We definitely have many conversations where she tells me exactly what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. And I'm telling you, that is priceless to have somebody in your corner that can set you straight. I was having a conversation with two of our former captains here in the front, you know, just having conversations of stuff that came up throughout the course of our group and tribe. They brought up things of our attention like, hey, you need to hear this. We need to, making suggestions, and the stuff that you may ever even never think of or you don't want to think of. And then when they bring it to your attention, it's like, do I want to hear this right now? But, you know, you really need people in your corner that are going to tell you the real, be utterly honest with you, and don't care how you take it or perceive it. But you have to realize that they're also doing it out of love. And growing up as kids, we probably had a lot of friends that were yes men or yes people. Just wanted to continue to, for the sake of the relationship, be cool with us. So they just went along to get along. But having a different point of view helps set you up for different perspectives that you just never thought of and really could be right and help you out in the long run. Number 5, healing and growth can suck at times, and it's not a glamorous process, but you do eventually come out a better person on the other side. I really have to thank my therapist for everything that happened to get me to this point. Constantly sad, depressed, all those things. And it's like, man, I'm afraid of going to therapy because I don't know what it's going to reveal. You know, this, you know, we think it's, you know, supposed to be glamorous, and I'm supposed to take, you know, as they say in the self-care books, get some baths and stuff like that, and that's your self-care or your healing journey. But it's really not. It really is paying attention to those ugly things about yourself, those things about yourself that you don't like, the things that you constantly want to overlook, But having the ability to do that, having a therapist to help me identify those things and help me do that has made me become so much of a better person. As I mentioned to you guys, just the boost in self-esteem alone was amazing. The confidence that it really gives you, because you're living and looking through things through a whole different lens and a whole different light. So remember that when you are in your process and you are in your journey, it's not going to be glamorous, but the person that you end up being on the other side of that is extremely worth it. And last, if you don't know where to start, that's okay. But realizing that you need to start is the first step to making a change. I think that's a big thing. If you, as soon as you realize it, you might not make the change immediately, but it's in your head, and hopefully you'll get that spark to go on and move forward. But I think that's just about it. That's all I really have. To sum it up again, guys, there are a lot of now moments in front of us. Just try to be aware when they come across. Don't be afraid to take advantage of the opportunities that do come across just because of where you are in life, because you never know the projection that your life can take by taking advantage. You never know who you'll meet during that process. Bless you. You never know who you'll meet during that process to make your life better, to help you get where you want to be, or to just even help out that process as you transition, man. I've met a ton of beautiful people and great people who have made my life easier, better, have made it dope by just jumping out there and doing something that I was against. So you just never know. But that sums everything up. Thank you guys for coming out. I hope that I was able to inspire you.
So we can do whatever you want, but actually what we're going to do, because, first, shout out to you, shout out to therapy. And you may have noticed that our other mic just stopped working because, Mercury's in retrograde. So when we're going to try to troubleshoot that super quick so we can have a lovely Q&A. But to do that, we're going to take a 30-second dance break. So when we're doing that, so please stand, dance if you want, or in your seat, whatever you want.
To see it be fine.
Yeah, this shit on my wrist. I think I'm the shit. Smoking my designer shit. They like where you find this shit. I know that's the line. I'm walking by that bitch. Y'all be clocking me, don't know what time it is. My grind is while my family on some diamond shit. It's late night and I seen it. But my girl hating on the other side. I'ma play it right when I greet her. We can plan to creep on another time.
Skin, brown eyes, small, tall, all kinds of fat ass, all kinds of shawty with the shawty with the skin. Small, tall, all kind of fat ass, all kind of shawty with the better to get it, mad as a bitch. Hard as a nigga, he doesn't exist. She got a booty, but she ain't the text. Don't worry, baby, I'm high as a text. What kind of nigga don't take you on trips? What kind of nigga be splitting the rent? She say he can't cause he always be broke. Here goes some money, go buy some shit. I like your eyes, I like that they brown. I like your booty, I like that it's round. I got some
Test. Hey. All right, we got microphone.
I know you hungry, you want something to eat. Girl, you bad for me.
Okay, come back. Dance break over. We're going to do a Q&A now. I'm sorry. I knew that this was going to be a risk, derailing everything.
Check.
Yeah.
Check.
I'm sorry. I knew that would possibly derail things. It did. We should have done a slow jam. We got too hype. It was too hype for us. I'm sorry. I apologize. Thinking on our toes, Henley was like, what song? I was like, Get You, Epic Fam. That'll be really up. And, here we are. We're back. So, like I said, we're going to do some Q&A now. So I know you probably have lots of wonderful questions to ask our wonderful speaker. Also, I'm going to do my best to monitor questions online too, to bring our online audience into this too. So online folks, if you have questions, we want to hear them. But I will get started. I'll kick off this Q&A.
Let's do it.
So one of the things I'm really glad that you mentioned in your talk, because I see it in your work, is that like I think like a through line in all the project and all the works you do is community. So what does community mean to you?
Connection. Common connection. It's, sometimes younger, I thought it was just, the neighborhood that you lived in, the school that you went to, the rec that you might go play at, or the league games that you go play and participate in. But becoming older and as an adult, I'm realizing that community is really about connection. Finding things in common with people, or being able to share space with people that you may not even have many commonalities with, but you have a respect for each other. You can work towards a common goal. I see all of those things definitely in Tribe every day. And if you aren't a part of Tribe, come check it out. But just even with some of the efforts that I tried to do before Tribe, with Brunch and Burn and with cooking, it was just always about trying to bring people together in a positive light. And just wanted people to connect with some form of positivity and to take that and spread it around.
Definitely. I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
If you don't have a question out here, I have more. I'll run out to you. All right.
Hi, Will. Oh, I'm gonna take my mask off. Hi, Will. Amazing talk.
Thank you.
You talked a lot about like therapy and community, and maybe this is too deep of a question, but I wonder where like spirituality sits within sort of like how, like what motivates you and how we stay in the now.
That is a tough one. I think spirituality, it's I don't want to use the cop-out answer, but as everybody says, it's like your own personal journey. It took me a while. I went to Catholic school all my life, so I always thought, I went to Catholic schools and being religious, but you realize getting older that it's a total separation between religion and spirituality. And I think finding that journey and kind of going back to what I said earlier in the talk, trying to find those things that actually brought me more peace, happiness, joy. That's kind of like spirituality to me. It's something that I'm still defining, I think, actually. So again, I think spirituality, a piece of that is just, it's an internal thing that hopefully guides and center you to do what's right. And that's kind of, I try to exude that through everything that we do with Tribe or any other efforts that I'm involved in. I think just trying to center, just get centered and be right and do right to others. Those are the things that I hope aligns me with spirituality. So hopefully that answered your question.
I am one of the people in the audience that doesn't know what Tribe is. I'm so sorry. Can you tell us what it is? And then my question is, can you tell, you've been doing all this personal work, spiritual journey. I'm in doing that myself. I think a lot of us are. Can you tell us about something that you thought about yourself or a way that you thought you were that surprised you that ended up not being the case, and kind of how that shifted everything or something? Thank you.
I'm gonna answer that part first. The quick answer to that was actually something that I had always thought was just that I was never good enough. But therapy helped open my eyes to it. It was the shift in thinking, the shift in how you talk to yourself, which were the things that, kind of made me realize, like, damn, I actually am good enough. And I think a lot of us probably do it, is that we really just don't talk to ourselves nice. We talk to everybody else nicely. We give everybody encouragement. We tell everybody good about, damn, your outfit is nice. I want them shoes, whatever, what I'm saying? We give everybody else the sense of encouragement that we really should be turning back to give to ourselves, and we never do it because, sometimes people be like, we have the fear of being, what's the right word I'm looking for? Yeah, there you go. Thank you. People, we don't want to be perceived as being narcissistic, but sometimes you just have to talk nicely to yourself. And after learning that skill set of not even being in the mirror like, damn, I'm the shit. Excuse me. I'm sorry if I couldn't say that, but
You're good.
But just waking up and being confident of like, I'm about to go have a good day. That's enough to even, talk nicely to yourself. And then it's like the snowball effect. It just continues to go and roll the more that you do it. And then hopefully, eventually, those negative thoughts, they'll still be there, but you know how to deal with them. And you no longer think of yourself, or I no longer thought of myself in the sense of I'm not good enough, whether it been cooking, relationships, whatever it may be, it just took time to continue to talk to myself nicely and realize that I was essentially making up this stuff because people talk to us great and we're like, whatever, man, I ain't even like that. You know what I mean? It's sometimes you have to realize that those thoughts are really all yours. You're the one that's planting this negative seed that I'm this way when you really aren't. You never are. You're the person that's perceiving yourself that way, and it just takes time to work through that and realize that it's all in your head.
And then what is A Tribe Called Run?
Oh, A Tribe Called Run. It's the greatest run crew ever. So we have a running crew. A lot of the members in the crowd are here, but we meet 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. We've built a community, a closeness of knit folks, like-minded. We came together because of running, but we've been bonded just through so many other different experiences. So that's Tribe in a nutshell.
Thank you. You talked about procrastination, which landed. I think you called it the excitement or the thrill of procrastination, and you are also kind of describing the paralysis by analysis you got when you were planning for Tribe and wanting to avoid, like, what are some little things you did and probably still have to do to take a next step forward and make sure you don't get stuck sitting there in the procrastination?
The biggest thing is like just realizing that you are doing it, because I still do it all the time. It took me forever to get my speech written. You can ask Kara, in my bio, all those things. But it's realizing that you are doing it, realizing if it is a sticking point or if it's something that that you just do all the time. It was remembering like, hey, I'm trying to be a better person. So let me not continue with those bad habits, or let me not continue with this habit of procrastination. And ultimately, this probably isn't a good example, but I always think that somebody's out to get me. I always think that not get me in like being in trouble, but I try to frame it in the sense of I want more respect for our crew, or I want more respect out of when it comes to my cooking. I want more respect out of my cooking. So I put a little extra, I make sure that I give the extra energy to do things right or timely when I may not want to do them. I see my man Damien over here from Black Sauce. I'm sure that he can probably attend to this as well. Being a chef, having to prep for things like that, it's like you probably don't want to do it, especially when you got an event the night before. You're like, damn, I don't feel like doing this. But, and also alluding back to earlier when I said I have imposter syndrome, one of the things for me is that, again, like, oh, people might not think I'm good enough. Let me get in here, get this rocking and rolling. So that was the kind of going back to the example. But, just kind of like, that was just the thing that I needed to do to light my fire. Everybody will find that different thing to kind of light that fire for them to get that procrastination. But one, being aware, two, doing whatever motivational kick in the butt that you need to do. And then three is just, just getting up and doing it. Like really just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go do it. Like getting that countdown and go do it.
Hey, congratulations on your success, and thanks so much for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Clearly, a leader that we need here in the city. So I wanted to ask you to unpack a little bit your path into therapy. So it's not an easy thing to find your way to. I know because I've tried and failed, and I think that it would be super telling to just understand the path that you took to finding, clearly your therapist has had a huge impact on your life. So I'd love to hear just a little bit about that.
It was honestly being open. That was the biggest thing, the biggest piece about the therapy. My path there was essentially, like I said, it was really just a feeling like, damn, something's not right. I got to change. I cannot keep, what's the definition of insanity? Trying to keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And it was like the same thing was happening over and over again. The result was not changing. I'm like, I really have to do something to change this. And it was like, therapy, let's try it. Let's give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen that hasn't already happened at this point, right? But once in therapy, it was the realization that this doesn't work unless I am an active participant. I couldn't just go there and sit in a chair and hope this person fix my issues because I was in the room. You also have to be an active participant, and that means becoming vulnerable to share these things. A good piece of that is understanding that they can't say shit to anybody else about what's going on. So if you got stuff, it takes time. It's not going to be, you're going to walk in on day one and like, oh man, that felt great. It's going to take a couple of sessions before you even feel comfortable with that person. And also, before I go deeper, if you don't feel comfortable with that person, hurry up and change immediately, because you don't want to continue to spend, you don't want to waste time, you don't want to waste money with somebody that is not going to help you get the solution that you're looking for. But just realize it's not going to be a process. It might take 2 or 3 therapists to finally find a person that matches. It's a relationship. Really, that's what it boils down to. It is a relationship with somebody that you have to learn how to trust again. It's a legal relationship, so there's legal implications there, but it's just being in the frame of mind to be in a relationship, to be vulnerable, to be open, and to be real, and to realize that what you put in determines what you're going to get out. So those are, I guess, the things that I would say are my path through therapy and kind of like what helped it become successful.
Hey, good morning, Will.
What's up, Tina?
How you doing? So, Will, after knowing you for 20 plus years, it's one a pleasure and inspiring to be here and to see this. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
So a question for you. So, you went off, you went to college, wanted to be an engineer, and then you went to a defense company, and now you've picked up different trades within a tribe called Run, and now cooking. So 2 questions. One, what was that pivotal moment, and you talked about it a little bit, but can you elaborate about what was that pivotal moment to pick up these other things that interest you? And then the second side of it, how are you able to do it all?
All right. Quick answer to the second question is I don't know, but I'll try to touch on that. The first, I can't even, they are essentially hobbies, right? But kind of like, honestly, necessity was why I was trying so many different things. I love our organization. However, 2 times I thought that I had good performance, things were going well, and I was laid off. Thankfully I had some people within the organization that found spaces for me, but it was kind of out of necessity that I kind of started reaching into those passions to see if I can turn them into hustles to make money and things of that nature. Because I hate to say it, and this may happen with a lot of you guys at a lot of your organizations. If you die tomorrow, they will have a rec out for your job within the next two or 3 days. So sometimes really that you are expendable, kind of like that fire to make you realize that you need to try to find something else. Like I said, thank goodness, still with the company, was able to find other opportunities. So these things can be passion driven as of right now, but I think that eventually, if push comes to shove, especially with the cooking, I can turn that to another source of income and things like that. So that's answer number one. Like I said, number two, honestly, I don't. Okay, no, I take that back. As they say, if you do something that you love, you're not working, and that's kind of like what a lot of these things are. I love cooking. I love the feel and vibe that people get after, sitting back, kicking and have a good time after eating my food, vibing with people either in a pop-up or whatever it may be. I love to see that. Running, I get to see my running crew roughly 3 days a week, so I have to love it at that point. To see these people so many times throughout the week, it's really a passion. It really does just bring me joy. So a lot of times I don't consider it as work or a chore, like, oh, I got to go do this. It's just something that I really enjoy to do, that I can make the proper time to fit in, that doesn't take away from other things. So
we got our last question over here.
Hello. First of all, I just want to thank you for just talking about therapy in general. I never hear Black men talking about therapy. It's always cis white women talking about therapy. So thank you for that.
No doubt.
I guess my question is, how would you suggest that we, as Black men, talk about or spread the option of therapy within our community?
Just gotta have a conversation, man, and the right ears will hear it and take it and receive it. It's like with anything, you gotta introduce it to the minds that are open to it. It's like being in New York and the 5%ers on the block, and they trying to give you the gospel, and you're just not trying to hear it, right? And it's like you just gotta, but to the right ears, it's gonna fall on the right ears in the right time that needed to receive it. So it's just introducing it to people at the right time. I think that there is opportunity to be more intentional about creating space. I think that's probably lacking, is based off of your question. I think that it's definitely probably lacking the opportunity to have a safe space circle for Black men or something like that. Or they're out there and we just don't know about it, and we got to get the word out there. But it is really having some intention around doing it. Some conversations can happen on the fly, and it was just like the right time that, I was just, some one of you boys talking about how they sat and down, I was just at a talk today and this guy was talking about therapy. You should try it. Those happen by happenstance, but the other thing is it really has to be intentional, that, you mob up with your boys like, hey man, I'm down, you down. We should get together with 5 more of our other homies and just talk about why we're down, and then talk about the solution being therapy. It just has to be intentional. It has to be set out. Otherwise, it won't change.
Again, shout out to therapy. Thank you, Will. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. Big shout out to Kira, Mario, the Creative Mornings crew and staff, everybody that made this happen. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you. We have a couple quick housekeeping things before we let you go on and have a beautiful Baltimore morning. We'd love to see what this looks like on your side. So please tag us on social media, your favorite social of your choice. We're not on TikTok though, so don't try there. But it is Baltimore_CM. There's a slide for this, Henley. It's all good. Look, there it is. Hey, and then I want to invite you all to please save the date for Friday, June 24th. We are going to be doing something a little new. We're going to be doing Audience Takes the Stage. So we invite you, our Baltimore community, to speak for 5 to 7 minutes on the theme of wilderness. This is the global theme for June, and Creative Morning speakers in over 200 cities will be developing on this concept. So how do you interpret the theme of wilderness? Do you have a wilderness story? There is an application to apply. Click it again. Hey. So you can apply to be a speaker. You'll get some coaching from me and Mario to help be the best talk that you can be. So apply, please, by next Friday, June 3rd, if you have a wilderness story or if you know somebody who has a wilderness story. We're going to be at Rashfield. Shout out to Melanie I'm sorry, Melody. Oh my God. And huh? Oh, stand in front of the table. Oh, hey, camera. Hey, online people. Hey, SL. Yeah, shout out to Waterfront Partnerships, who we're going to be working with to be at Rashfield next month. So I hope to see you all there. Hope to see some of you on the stage. So yeah, please tell us your wilderness stories. And yeah, so just thank you so much for being here with us. Let's close it out with some intention though, right? So let's take some collective breaths together, which I feel like kind of goes in our whole self-reflection therapy theme that we have today. So get comfortable, close your eyes if you want, put your hands on your knees, stand, whatever feels good. We're going to take 3 breaths together, okay? All right, breathe in and out, in and out, and then one more, in and out. Thank you so much for spending the morning with us. We hope you feel part of this community, and we hope to see you next month.
Thank you. Hope it was good. Hope it was worthwhile.
It was great. It was so great. These flowers are for you. From Local Colors.
Do I take the vase too? Or?